Hi, welcome to T3 Teach Tech Theater. I'm Kirsten Giard-Branch.
And I'm Julie Benitez.
And today we wanted to talk to you about organizing your lighting inventory, specifically in terms of gel and all those other sundry supplies that seem to sit lone and forlorn until you absolutely need them during a tech or a production. This video is geared towards all of us that are a little more old school and are still coloring lighting with gel. If you are LED people, we understand that you have a whole new planet and we are not it at this moment. Neither one of us have LED lighting systems. And so we're kicking it old school with gel.
Before you get yourself and when you listen to this and you're like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done this. Now, I've worked with Kirsten for many years and I've been teaching for 25. And this is something that I have been meaning to do for a very long time, yet I have still not done it. Even knowing, I aspire someday to be like Kirsten, who has it as organized as she does. But I'm going to tell you right now that I don't have it organized like this, but I want to. And now let's listen to Kirsten sit on her throne of self-righteousness.
Here I am on my organizational throne. I will say, though, that the only reason why this is organized as the way that it is, I did my organization with lighting initially several years ago when I did a big organization clean and revamp of my entire program. Here's how I did this. I had a box, and by a box, I don't mean a box. I mean, like, a not quite a refrigerator box, but it was a majestic box, just full of gel. And there was no organization. It was like confetti in there. You know what I mean? It was really, really very totally disorganized. And that's just where everything got thrown. And when I was on my organization and cleaning kick, I happen to have two very lovely technical directors and personal friends. And we came and sat in a room of my house in the heat of the summer. And both of these people, by the way, are theater and event professionals. And so they were able to pick up a gel, look at each other and go, oh, that's R78. Oh, that's R64. So my job at that point was just to make sure that the gels were labeled, but I didn't have to do anything super crazy because they just, they're those people. They know, they look at it and they know right away the color. I'm not those people, but they are. Where I am in my new school, everything was a mess. So I just went back and reorganized because I was reorganizing everything again. So yes, I'm sitting on my throne of self-righteous organization, but it was, both times were super, super intentional in a purging and cleaning of a much larger picture than just the lights.
I will say I didn't have a box full of confetti gels. I at least do have it in a chest of drawers, one that says cool gels and one that says warm gels. And some of them are still even in the wrappy part that might have the number on it still. But I usually just tell a child to go find a gel that's the same color as this one and go like that until you find it. Not nearly as cool as Kirsten.
And there you go. So you have the bureau drawer method of organization, should you so choose. And we're not here to judge at all. Or you can do it the better way. Or you do it my way, which is the way it should be. So let me tell you about how this organization plan happened. First things first, when you have your gel and things start to get cut, we had to create a culture of labeling things. That did not happen for a long, long time. It's something as simple as, this is just with Sharpie marker that says RO2, right? So bastard amber is the color. And I have Sharpie markers. I also have the grease pencils. Remember those way back when?
Hey, Kirsten, what's R stand for?
R, Julie, stands for Roscoe. Is that backwards to you? That's backwards to me.
Nope, it's not backwards to me.
Okay. Well, if it's backwards, this says but it's Roscoe or Roscoe Lux, which is providers of choice for the West Coast. I know when I was in New Hampshire, it was leaf filters were the thing. I got a whole bunch of used manila folders, and I will show you, if you can see, that says R2 Bastard Amber. And what I did was I got my little Roscoe Lux swatch book, found the R2 and swatched a little tiny piece off the top of the book and taped it onto the folder. So that way, even in theory, of course, we're dealing with teenagers, but in theory, if a child sees that this is the color, they are not going to file a green piece of gel into this manila folder. Now, has that happened? Yes. But at least it's a start. And so now I have a large file cabinet with the hanging file folders, and these are in numerical order according to the Roscoe book, so that the kids can just kind of go through. And then we have the conversation about, like, if it's R2, then why do we go from R2 to R302 or 300, if it's R10 and then we have R310 and then we have R11. That makes no sense. Correct. I don't know. This is not my job, but this is my job to organize this. So it just makes it a lot more convenient. And like Julie, we have the rolls of gel as well, and those just stay. But it's trying to create that culture within my theater technicians. If you are going to grab something out of one of the folders, double check and make sure it's labeled. If it is not, get it labeled right away so we know where to file it back to. And that's always a lovely job for those children that might just need maybe a little more time to themselves in a quiet job where they can just pick up a gel, match the number, put it in the file, and so that has kept my life a little more sane in terms of my gel organization. The other thing that we have at Granite Hills is that I also have, actually I have several file cabinets, and one of them is the file cabinet for my gaff and spike tape. So there's a drawer of gaff and spike, and there is a drawer for safety cables. Everything is where it needs to be. All of the drawers are labeled. So if a kid goes into that specific area, they know where to find something. Where do they find a top hat? Where do they find a gel frame? All of that is found in that one section of the lighting storage area that I have, with everything clearly labeled. As far as the organization goes, I think I spoke about this when we were talking about organization in the past, or maybe, I don't know, one of the videos maybe, or just in my head. And that is the idea that we organize all of the cabling as well according to length of cable, and then it's color coded. So if you go back and you look at our code hacks video, you'll see the color coding for cables. All of our cables in the theater are coded the exact same. So 100-foot cable, doesn't matter what kind of cable it is always got that little piece of red tape on it. But I have milk crates that are then organized for all of my light cables according to length of cable. And those are just kind of stacked up on top of each other to just make it convenient. So you don't have to go through, because we all have that kind of one drawer or one existence where you open the drawer and it's like spaghetti. But I don't want to do that with the lighting, because, oftentimes if we need a cable, it's during tech or when we're all cranky. And so it's just easier to grab something that you can easily get to.
Kirsten is so organized in many of these ways. One is because she did have some excellent tech people who were working with her.
Yes.
Also, I think that at your school, when you were teaching at Valhalla, you took your lights up and down more often. Am I correct in that?
We had a policy for a long, long time that every summer, we would strip everything, because inevitably there was always construction or something going on. And we at Valhalla were an indoor school, which is very rare in Southern California. Most of us have outdoor schools where everything is just one big open campus versus an enclosed building. But at Valhalla, it was all enclosed. And so if there was construction, inevitably there was dust or there was paint mists or whatever. And we actually had several instruments that were ruined over the course of a summer because the painters weren't paying attention and they just let the mist kind of go all over everything. And we ended up having to replace some lighting. So we just started a policy where we would take everything down in the summer, clean it and hang it, and then do a new light hang at the beginning of every year.
Which is probably one of the reasons why I've never gotten as organized as Kirsten has, because I don't know whether those lights that are right above my head, I don't think they've moved in a very long time. I occasionally shift one or take one down, but that light hang has been pretty much there for many years. I take them down and clean them occasionally, but that is one of the reasons. So again, don't should on yourself. It just depends on what you can do. And when you've got the time and you've got the energy, these are great ways to organize it and create a culture going forward of organization. And when your kids go out into the real world, they'll understand why things are the way they are, and they'll be better technicians.
Indeed. And again, it's that nobody is shooting on anyone. I would never, ever, ever have done this myself. But I really had two theater professionals that I work very closely with going, this place is a pit. You've got to fix what is going on in the light booth. And so I did. I mean, they were there to help me. So that is a huge, huge factor within that, because we all know about the department of one thing. But if you've got some even stalwart students that want to take that on, the ones that, like Julie has that one student that was like, can I redo the entire prop closet? Yes, you can. So if you've got those kind of kids, yeah, here's this huge box of gel or bureau drawer full of gel. Why don't you start finding and matching colors and let's label it so we can get it all organized? Highly recommend. But in the grand scheme of existence, is this or was this ever top 10 of my things that I needed to do in my facilities in either one? Absolutely not. Safety first, right? Safety and organization of the stuff that is going to potentially hurt folks. This was, I've settled now. I figured kind of it out. And now I'm going to be moving on to other stuff that I want to do. And as always, if you have any questions or you are intrigued by the lovely photos that were part of this video and you want to know more, feel free to reach out to us, teachtechtheater@gmail.com. Check out our website, become a free member, and find all that really cool curriculum and such that we're sharing. And that is www.teachtechtheater.org. And we will look forward to chatting with you soon, I hope. Thanks. Bye.